the Vale of York. All that. Probably one of my happy places, as they call it. Bodger Junior's with me. Today we're visiting family. And behind me there's a church. I'm on Spoddymore Church. I'll see if I can dig out some details when it was built, etc. But we're going to have a look through the graveyard, and also up there there's an ROC post in that direction, so we'll go and have a look at that. But we'll go visit some old friends as well, maybe. What do you say, Bodger Junior?
Yeah, that's alright.
Yeah, let's crack on. This seat was put here for an old friend of mine. He passed a lot of years ago. What we have is the main gates. This is dedicated to those that were lost from the village of Spoddymore in the First World War. And in it is the names of all those that were lost. And to this side we have a kissing gate. More about that later. Some familiar names still on there for me. Some of the families that are still in the village. And then we've got the Second World War names here, carved in. Not so far away, we have RAF home on Spoddymore. A lot of people flew from there, you know. Now somewhere in here, one of these gravestones, I don't know which one it is, I can't remember, has an inscription. I'll see if we can find it before we leave. I'll have a little bit of a read, because I think there might have been a bit of drama going on, you know what I mean? So yeah, this is a church where my parents got married and my grandparents. Not me, surprisingly, and I've had 3 of them. Plenty of funerals as well, unfortunately. Where it is, locked up, and today's Sunday. Kind of a shame. That way is down to the crypt. Always used to freak me out as a kid.
Well, why?
Don't know, just did, Bodger. Don't know, it's just one of them things, you know. I didn't live so far away. I lived at the bottom of the hill, because all this is quite high up, as you'll have seen in the opening sequence there. And over here, I tell you what, let's go see an old friend of mine, shall we? Spent a few hours before sat on this bench. A lot of familiar names. And then we come here. Benjamin Watts. Went to school with Ben. And 2004, Boxing Day, I lost him in the tsunami. Him and another friend, Nova Mills. But it's old Ben. You got Bodger his name.
Yep.
He's a Ben. Obviously he wasn't called Bodger, you know what I mean. But yeah, again, a lot of familiar names. But we try not to dwell, you know, life goes on, doesn't it? Ben went there, he had a lot of fun. I was one of the last people to see him on these shores before he went over there. I haven't seen him for a few years, and he came round to my house. I'm going away, I'm going on holiday. Oh yeah, that sounds nice, yeah. Didn't know he won't come back. Anyhow, whatever. Time moves on, doesn't it? I mean, here there's a lot of names and things where, although familiar, they're long gone. So I'll do this piece first. This is Church of England side. The other side is the Roman Catholic one. Even in death, people are separated by religion, aren't they? See, the rabbits and the badgers are doing their thing. Headstones falling over. Some laid down because they get a bit dangerous. Looks like I could do with a good lawnmower around it really now. The war graves. Those that served in the RAF. Laid to rest here. Ages and stories, all different ones, and ultimately all you're left with is your name on a bit of stone. Charles Wells. I'll never know what the geezer looked like, what he did. Somebody there with just a wooden cross. The pauper's burial, because he didn't have any family. Some of these are the newer graves. When I first started coming up here to funerals and things, and now they've moved into another field. I always say there's nothing more certain than death and taxes. This fella, Codge, my dad used to hang around with Codge. He's near now. You know, it's kind of weird, Bodgers. I don't really come up here much, because this isn't where they are for me. But you tend to lose where you are, because there's that many graves that have come in since. You know. Here I am looking for my grandparents, my parents' graves, and it's been that long. too long, eh? Like I say, not here really. It's just where they're laid to rest. This is my mum's grave and my dad. Put my dad's ashes in myself. Looks like I might have to have a tidy up before we go, eh? What do you say, Junior?
Yeah.
And then my granddad and my grandma. Don't know what they'd reckon to it now. How the world's turned out. Yeah, so we'll come back, we'll have a bit of a clean up. We'll have another walk around, keep going. Just thought it'd be something a bit different for you. We had Bodger Junior back there. He said he wanted to come up and see the graves. And it's a beautiful day, so why not? Norman Keane and Enid Keane, they used to own the news agents in the village. They lived around the corner from me. And these are the ones that are a bit hard. The babies. Babies that didn't get much of a life. That's the thing, all these lot, they got to live a long life, didn't they? Not the babies. This lad, 10 years old. No age is it really? Jan, he was a friend of my dad's, he used to work with my dad. Can't all live forever. And then we come out this way and you get another great view. Yorkshire Wolds spreading all the way from the Humber in that direction. And all the way up. Right the way into the Dales of Yorkshire. You carry on that way. I suppose if you're going to get buried or burnt and shoved in here, it's not a bad place to be, is it? Not that you get to enjoy the view, you know what I mean? We'll go in a new section here, look, because it don't stop. Fresh one there. I haven't lived in the village for quite a long time now, so although I see the familiar names on there and things like that, it's all a bit sad really. Oh, I don't know what I'm trying to say really, Bodgers. It's the only way I get to keep up with who's gone it village really. It's a nice place to come, to sit, to reflect, I suppose. Get your thoughts in order. There's a noisy helicopters up there flying over. You hear the birds song and all that. And only us two and another chap over in the far corner having a bit of time. it's a gyrocopter, not a helicopter. Take it all back. But yeah, a lot of names, families that I know. And some of these go back like years and years and years. What we'll do is go have a look at something that is quite unique around here. There's lots of them. There's 1,500 of them over the country. But this one's quite high up. Again, the views, the vistas, and you see Drax Power Station over there, near where we live. I always think the world looks like quite a small place from up here, really. If that makes any sense. You can see like most of Yorkshire spread out in front of you, but look over there and you can see Drax Power Station, and it's on our doorstep at home. We ain't driven that far. Back in the, I think it was late 80s, early 90s, we had a parade up here. And I was a scout, and we marched up the Cinder Trod. Again, something I'll show you before we disappear. And we had a little ceremony because it was the anniversary of the Spanish Armada. We had a lighting of the beacon, and the beacon used to be up here somewhere, and then went and moved it down the hill, and we all had to march down the hill again to go and light this beacon to commemorate the Spanish Armada, because that's how they warned the whole country that was being invaded. Lighting a beacon, putting a light on. So what we have in front of us, Bodgers, is an ROC post, Royal Observers Corps. It was a network of bunkers with recording devices that would be manned by Royal Observers Corps, and they would report back to central hubs. Ours was in York, come the apocalypse. So they was active through the 60s, 70s and 80s. Some were shut down in the 60s, but this one was functioning till into the 90s, the early 1990s. Quite often you'd see a Land Rover up here, and I think sometimes still the RAF use this as a practice target. They don't bomb us, obviously, don't bomb us. But we go and set up here and we have a good fly around. So this here isn't a water tower, this big box. This was one of the observatories for the Second World War. Inaccessible now, but it's where there's the door for it. That was still attached the last time I was up here. So there we go, that's the Royal Observers Room. Can you see anything in there, Bodgers? They used to stand on top and look out for the Germans coming over, because in that direction is Hull, and some of them would fly over towards York or fly towards Gull to bomb Gull. The Royal Observer Corps would give the early warnings. And then this is the bunker. This one's in quite good condition, and it is secured by the landowner, but I have been down it many years ago, and he's maintained it. He's put new grills on and things to keep the water out, because it's important to preserve that history. And this would have been the direction. This would record it. It'd have a piece of equipment on the top, this thing, and it would record when which direction and with what strength a nuclear attack was happening. and then that information would get radioed to York, which is about 20 miles in that direction, and it'd be a network all across the country, so they could build a picture of what was going on in the event of a nuclear attack. So you've got a ladder that goes down, and you've got, over this side will be a toilet, which is basically a bucket, and then there'll be bunks here going this way for 3 people, so they could work around the clock. I don't know what your life expectancy was, to be honest, but it's all underground now. If you go to Blow and 8 Cylinder or our friends at IKS, they've done visits to these things, and they'll show you around, show you how things are set out. But yeah, you've got the Second World War, the Cold War, all backed by a church that dates back. I mean, there's been a religious site here since before the Romans arrived. Because over in, where are we? Let me just get my bearings. So over in that direction, there's a long straight road that you'll see on a map. I might even insert a picture of it here. That goes between Home and Spalding Moor and Welland Bridge. That was a Roman road, but it was long, it was straight, and it carried straight on. And the thing that you see all the way down this road, it's maybe 5 miles in length, something like that, is the church on the hill, because that's how people navigated. And back in the day, when this was Home Hall, down at the bottom of the hill, down here, that was a nunnery, but it was also a monastery. And back in the Middle Ages, most of this land was swampland, and the monks used to cross, pick you up at Bubwith, which is 8 miles in that direction, and they used to guide you across the moor, through the swamp. Kind of like a swamp. It was very moist, and you could easily sink into the peat bogs and disappear. And they used to guide you across. Some say that they've still seen them on the road between Bubwith and Home on Spalding Moor. They've seen monks at night. Personally, I think it might be a bit too much sauce, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's been a religious site here for thousands of years, of some description or another, even if it was just like a wooden structure or whatever. I'll put the date in here, I'll put it in here when this comes, when I upload it and I edit it. I'll put a date in of when this particular church was built. I can't remember me for the life of me. Like the church, I'm getting a bit old. So yeah, it's kind of an explore today, I don't know, but Bodger Jr. said he fancied visiting family, so this is where my family is, unfortunately. I still have relatives, 1 or 2 in the village, and spread all over, but don't see much of them. That's the way it goes, innit, Bodgers, you know what I mean? Point is, I've got my family, that's all that matters to me. Even if he does need a good haircut. See what I mean? So what we'll do, Bodgers, is we'll walk around the corner and we'll have a look at the cinder trod, and I'll explain what that is, and then I'll explain about the kissing gate, and I think that's the best way to leave it, isn't it? But I'll see you in a minute. This is the Catholic side of the graveyard. The man himself there. This one gets its own entrance, and that's the entrance they use when they do the funerals. Quite the carving, you can still see the rib cage and things on it. And his toes, that are slightly shiny. Because people have been up here and left rocks. Giving his toe a rub.
You just touched Jesus' feet.
I did. Well, there used to be a thing about washing feet. He used to wash people's feet, no matter who they were.
Huh?
But yeah, giving it a rub. I don't know, must be a Catholic thing, I don't know. Let me know, Bodgers. Anyway, moving on. So Bodgers just noticed this on the wall and thought that that's when the church was built, but as I pointed out, that's graffiti from 1864. But even where people have carved in, look at that letter J there, Bodgers. You see that? Almost like they've got good handwriting with a chisel. 1900 SFR, people putting their initials in. I've got more here. TF 1878 here. I was trying to find a gravestone, Bodgers. We'll still keep looking. But on it, I think the husband's had a bit of a... He hasn't been happy, you know what I mean? Because on it says that she was a dutiful mother but not a loyal wife. Who the heck puts that on the headstone? More graffiti. Crow's foot. That would be the stonemason's mark. Here, 1861. 2003, Rick and Jen. Pammy Elliott. (1861). Leon and Carter. Yeah, they've had a go. Look. Henry Penfield.
1861 here. Another one.
The thing is, not know why it's graffiti and it tells a story, you know. I know a certain ginger young man who's down south who likes to see stuff carved into walls. IKS, Ian from IKS. They just kind of tell the story, you know what I mean? This stone here is eroded from the weather. Let me get to this side so the sun's not in your eyes. See how it's eroded away? Because it's sandstone, it's soft. But someone's still gone and carved in it. You see where the water's run down and washed out all the stone. Because it's been here that long. The stained glass windows sadly having to be covered by metal so as they don't get smashed or damaged, because people can't leave good things alone. Now to the north side. All churches are orientated, so if you're ever lost you can find your direction by looking at a church. Entrance bricked up a long time ago, and then you'll see on the top course of bricks, later addition to repair the church. Same again there, new piece put between the windows.
That one's a little bit smashed.
It's a little bit smashed.
Yeah.
And up top, I don't know if you can see up there, Bodgers, you got gargoyles on the top that used to run the water off the roof of the tower. Still got bells in there, and the old campanologists still come and ring them. You can hear it for miles and miles because of the height. The wind carries the noise. We even have competitions here, I think. Looks like that needs to be back on the window. I don't think the maintenance is happening as much as it did, but what it does do is open up that window for us. We're only looking from the outside. Imagine it with the daylight running through. Sadly I can't get in Bodger's. It's all locked up today, despite it being a Sunday. Quite a building. If walls could talk. I suppose they can. It's about remembering people that have passed, but also remembering the stories, happy times, the weddings, the christenings that have happened here, not just the funerals, and other events, like the lighting of the beacon that I had when I was a little lad to commemorate the invasion of the Spanish Armada. So yeah, sorry it's been a bit out of sync, but you know, just thought I'd have a walk around the building. Anyway, on to the next bit about the cinder trod, and I'll tell you about that and wrap things up. Alright? So just there, Bodgers, that's a beacon, a representation of what might have been up here. Remember I was on about the Spanish Armada? And now they went and warned the country that Britain has been potentially invaded. They lit a load of these things, and it could be seen for miles around, and what you'd see is a series of lights all up the country as people set fire to the beacons, and each one would go on literally minutes apart. But you was the Spanish Armada. You're a youth, you'll have done history. He's no idea. Again, somewhat uppering. So yeah, what we've got is a road that leads from the entrance over here of the church. And it goes in a straight line, straight down the hill, and it's one of the steepest parts of the hill. And I've marched up that as a youth, and as a scout and a scout leader. And this road here is known as the cinder trod. And back in the Middle Ages, this used to be covered, obviously, in cinders. Trod is a Yorkshire word for path or road. So some of you might say you've trodden in some dog poo. That's where it comes from being a road or a path that you take. And this would be covered in cinders from all the villages. And people would come from miles around all over the Vale of York to, what's the word, pay homage, what's the word I'm looking for? They'd come here anyway to worship. And part of that ceremony would be the crawls on their hands and knees on cinders. Now the cinders wouldn't be hot, but they would be sharp and it would dig into your skin, and it'd be like you was paying penance to come and worship. Don't know if I'd be down for that really. It's bad enough marching up it, let alone crawling up with cinders on it. So yeah, so we've got the memorial to those that died in both wars, and here, looking like it's in poor shape to be honest, is the kissing gate. It's rotted off here. This would have a fence across here. and you'd have to walk around the gate, move the gate out of your way, and then through. And the reason why it was called a kissing gate is because when he was courting a young lady, he was only allowed to kiss her once, and that's when she was on one side of the gate and he was on the other. Stops any hanky panky. So it's kind of a good way to leave the video, isn't it? Yeah, we've had a bit of sad times, and interesting times with the Cold War bunker and stuff, but we're living on a message of love and hope. Young couples coming here for their first kiss on a journey of life that ultimately would lead them here into the churchyard here, and their descendants that came of that first kiss. So there we go, Bodgers. I'll see you next week. In the meantime, take care of each other, take care of yourselves. So it's goodbye from me and
Goodbye.
goodbye from him. Sound like the two Ronnies then, didn't we? See you later.